Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition of King David's Knowledge. Today we'll be discussing about the Supreme Court building and the images of past lawmakers that try to inspire about freedom, justice, and liberty. But we'll find out in American history if that's so. Thank you, and here we go.
Can of my cheese, having cake. Throw my hands, I'ma celebrate. Clutch my crown, my kingdom flows. Server king, yeah, that's my way. I'm tired of beach, take my money. Birds of a feather flock, no dummy. I'ma take what's mine.
Now, the first on the wall of past lawmakers is Menes, and was a pharaoh of the early dynastic period of ancient Egypt, credited by classical tradition with having united Upper and Lower Egypt, and as the founder of the first dynasty of Egypt. Now, why would they put them? And that makes sense. With warring tribes back in ancient times, it would take a great person that came with principles for people to unite. Second on the list, Hammurabi was the sixth king of the first Babylonian dynasty of the Amorite tribe, reigning from 792 BC to 750 BC. Hammurabi is best known for having issued the Code of Hammurabi, which he claimed to have received from Shamash, the Babylonian god of justice. Unlike early Sumerian law codes, such as the Code of Ur-Nammu, which had focused on compensating the victim of the crime, the Law of Hammurabi was one of the first law codes to place greater emphasis on the physical punishment of the perpetrator. Again, why would they put him on the wall? Because again, he's trying to bring principles to people in order to unite everybody together. Next on the list is the great Moses, the one and only that was put in a basket and floated off to Egypt and then raised in the house in the Pharaoh of Egypt. Now, why was he put on the list? Because he's a great lawmaker that came with the 10 Commandments, the same one that raised up and left Egypt and was cast out and came back and told Pharaoh, "Let my people go." I think that's pretty simple when it comes to speaking out and slavery. You don't need terminology and new terms like the Proclamation of Emancipation just to tell somebody, "Let my people go." And as you can see with the history that I've done, he's right here, right behind me, on the picture of my wall. Next on the list is King Solomon the Wise, the son of King David. Now, they would put him on the wall because obviously he is also known for his great diamond mines. And he was also the one to continue on through the laws of Israel, passed down from Moses, through the kings, through the prophets, all the way down to King David and then to him. Next is Lycurgus, was the quasi-legendary lawgiver of Sparta who established the military-oriented reformation of Spartan society in accordance with the oracle of Apollo at Delphi. All of his reforms were promoted the three Spartan virtues: equality among citizens, military fitness, and austerity. I think that's some pretty good principles to start off with. Next is Solon, was an Athenian statesman, lawmaker, and poet. He's remembered particularly for his efforts to legislate against political, economic, and moral decline in archaic Athens. His reforms failed in the short term, yet he is often credited with having laid foundations for Athenian democracy. He wrote poetry for pleasure, as patriotic propaganda, and in defense of his constitutional reform. He's also known for traveling to Egypt and asking their priests whether they know about the Great Deluge and the flood. And they replied and told him, "You have no history of antiquities and have no antiquities of history. There were many floods before that one." Next is Draco, also called Draco or Draken, was the first recorded legislator of Athens in ancient Greece. He replaced the prevailing system of oral law and blood feud by a written code to be enforced only by a court of law. Draco was the first democratic legislator requested by the Athenian citizens to be a lawgiver for the city-state. But the citizens had not expected that Draco would establish laws characterized by their harshness also known as Draconian. Next is Confucius, who was a Chinese philosopher and politician of the Spring and Autumn period, who was traditionally considered the paragon of Chinese sages, widely considered one of the most important and influential individuals in Chinese and East Asian philosophy, as well as Chinese and human history. Confucius' teachings and philosophy form the basis of East Asian culture and society and continue to remain influential across China and East Asia, which is justice, kindness, and sincerity. I think we need him to have him on our wall always. Octavian. Yeah, we know about him, the first emperor of Rome, in the Battle of Actium against Antony and Queen Cleopatra. Yeah, we don't need him on our walls. Obviously, he believes in Roman mythology, and that's only catering to one religion. That's not everybody around the world. No, thank you. From 1776 and our independence to 1865 and Lincoln's proclamation and the freedom of slaves. Why would it take that long? And then you want to build a building in 1932 to show that you have the idea of past lawmakers about freedom and justice and liberty? Are you kidding me? All those that have been given authority to protect our citizens, city officials, law enforcement, judges, government officials, vice president, president, either you abide by those principles on those images on your wall, or you take them down, period. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this edition of King David's Knowledge.
When I'm playing the field with the B-boys, get knocked out, call the medics, question priests, pressure pastors, testify now who's your master. Go to war then easily captured, your Hollywood ain't no factor. Headed to the bank, make a deposit, stack my chips, I'm all about pride.